Alright, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to warp samples on the MPC Live II. Let's get straight into it. So, I have an empty project right here. I do have two samples loaded up. I already recorded them in. So, what you really want to do first, you just want to stay on this view. I would recommend just staying on this view for this example. So, what I'm going to do, I have a drum program already loaded up right here. So I'm going to go to the program edit, and then I'm going to select the sample that I want to use. So I have two samples I'm going to be showing you guys. One's the drums and one's the sample. So for the sample, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to hit the Q link so it can use the Q link to start. I just recorded these samples straight in. So I'm going to use a Q link to start right in the beginning. And I'll show you what the sample sounds like. So this is the sample that I'm going to be using. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do, I'm just going to do this real quick. So I'm going to go back to none. I'm going to make sure I'm selecting pad 1. I had the sample selected on pad 2. It doesn't really matter, especially for this. We're just going to be using one pad for each drum program, but I'm just going to use pad 1 because I want to load the sample in the pad 1. Either way is fine. But again, I'm going to use the Q link so I can use the start Q links right here. You can use your fingers too. You can, pretty much what I'm doing, I'm just making it start right from the sample. I'm just doing this because I recorded the sample right in. You don't have to do this. But this is what the sample sounds like. So pretty much what I want to do, I want to record that loop right there. So I'm going to find the tempo of it. So that's the first thing we got to do. We got to find the tempo of the sample. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to play it and hit the tap tempo at the same time. I'm doing this because I don't know the tempo of this sample. And if you do know the tempo of the sample, I'll explain what you can do if you do have it, because you could probably skip this step. But let's say you don't have the tempo of the sample. I'm just going to do this as an example. So I'm going to use the tap tempo to find the tempo of the sample. So let's see. If I go to main, this is the tempo that it's showing me right now. So it's around 80. The tempo that I had tapped in is 79.26. So what we can do, I just want to make, here, let's see. I'm actually going to turn the metronome on for this. So I just want to make like a 2-bar loop. So I'm going to record this in, and you'll see what I'm going to do. So I'm going to hit play start. And you hear that it's kind of off. So what I'm going to make sure is that it's on, yep, so it's on the 1 and 2. So we're near the tempo that we want. If we play it, actually, that loop doesn't sound too bad. I'm going to speed it up to 80.26. Let's hear what it sounds like. That sounds good to me. So the next step is warping this sample. So I'm going to go back. I'm going back to the program edit, but you can hit menu. I keep saying program edit. I'm so used to program edit. It's the track edit. You might have it over here. I just have it on the side. So I'm going to go to track edit. So we're going to remember that tempo. So actually, I'm going to go back to main. So we're going to remember 80.26. So go to track edit. I'm going to hit this BPM right here. 80.26. I'm just going to go back to, 80.26. And once we have the right BPM right here, we're going to hit warp. So now I'm going to now since it's warped, we can either increase the tempo. I'm gonna increase the tempo. So now you have your sample that's warped right here. And now if I bring it down, now we have full control of the BPM. If you go really low, it really starts to like stretch the sample. Doesn't sound the best, but I think you're kind of safe to, especially if you're making like hip hop stuff. Like, say that the original sample's around 80 and you want to go down like to 75, you're pretty safe. It still sounds decent. I think speeding it up sounds better, in my opinion. If you go back to track edit, you'll see that the algorithm is on Pro 10. It's on default. If you do repitch, you can use this. I feel like a lot of people that want to use warp, they want to like change the tempo with the same pitch. So you might want to avoid this, but I could show you what it sounds like on repitch as well. So it's on, this is the original right here. And if I bring it down, it lowers the tempo and brings the pitch down. But for right now, we're just gonna keep it on the Pro 10. I personally like how it sounds on the repitch. It just sounds better. But again, if you want to keep the same pitch, I understand why you wouldn't want to use that. So now we have the sample. Next up, we're gonna warp the drums. So I'm gonna hit. We're pretty much gonna do the same process. We're gonna add drums to a pad and then warp that loop. So I'm gonna go to new track. I'm gonna go to drum. I'm gonna go to the track edit. I'm gonna make sure this pad 1 is selected again. I'm just using pad, like you can use any of these pads because I'm not chopping up the sample, I'm just looping the sample. So I'm gonna go to the sample. I'm gonna go to drums. I'm just gonna see where it starts. I'm gonna hit this Q link just again to, the Q link right here is just selecting, you know, which thing you want to control. So I want to control the start again because I recorded these drums in here. One thing that I forgot to mention too, for the sample, say you have the sample and you already have the BPM, you can actually skip all that tap tempo stuff and say that you have everything lined up in here. You know that the BPM is 90. You could just go straight to the BPM, hit 90, make sure, you know, that you record everything, or not even record everything. You could hit 90, say you want to make a 2-bar loop, and then you could just record it in from there. This way is kind of assuming if you're just grabbing a random sample online, you don't know the tempo to it, but just a side note. So I'm going to go back to this track right here. Again, we're going to warp these drums. So I'm just going to, so it starts right here. I'm going to do that. I'm going to zoom in. So the drums start right here. So I probably just want to use like this part. I want to loop it like that. What I'm going to do, this is just kind of, I like doing this when I warp samples, if I ever do. I'm going to go to mix. I'm actually going to mute this first track, so I'm actually going to label these. So this is the sample track, and then this is the drum track. So I'm going to just mute this and, you can solo. I'm just going to mute the sample track. So now we can only hear the drums. I like doing this because it's just easier. It's just easier. You don't have to do this. Pretty much when you record, the sample's going to play while you're doing the drums, but you're still trying to figure out the tempo for the drums. So I prefer doing this. So let's go back to the track edit. So now I'm going to hit the tap tempo to figure out the tempo of these drums. So I think that's a, let's see what the tempo is. If we go to main, it's similar. It's around, it's a similar BPM. It's around 80. It's saying it's 83.33. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to record this in as well. So once I hit record again, it's only having the drums playing. So now I'm just going to record. And make sure you have the metronome, can't talk. Make sure you have the metronome on for this. Just makes it a lot easier. Hit record. Sounds off, you know what I mean? I just stopped it because I know that I recorded everything I needed to record. So if I play it back, so it's a little off. So I might need to slow it down a little bit. So I'm going to bring it down to 81. This is the part too, like you're probably going to do little adjustments trying to find the right BPM before you warp it, because that's very important, especially if you want a good loop. So let's hear it. It sounds like 81. That sounds good. That sounds good to me. So if I turn the metronome off and just play it, sounds good. So now again, so we're going to remember this 81.33. Go to the track edit. 81.33. I just add the BPM, and now I hit warp. So now if I hit play start, if I want to speed it up, we have the BPM warp. For this, I would honestly suggest putting, if we go back to track edit, I would put the algorithm on repitch. I think this sounds better. I think it sounds better, especially if you're bringing it down too. Like if the original sample is, let's say again, it's, what was it, 81. If you want to bring it down to like 77, to me it just sounds better. You could kind of mess around with that though. You can go to Pro 10 or repitch. I'm just gonna keep this one at repitch. But now if I hit mix, click the mute to unmute it, now everything is synced up tempo wise. You know, and just for example, I can really bring it down. Now I can bring it up. So yeah, that's how you warp samples on the MPC Live II. Just a real quick example. But yeah, leave a comment down below if this helped you. But yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.